Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, including Steven Universe and Gravity Falls. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hello.
Today we're talking Friendship, the latest episode of Steven Universe, the final episode of Week of Sardonyx. Spoilers for this episode and all of Steven Universe within. You can find more about us at overlyanimated.com and more at the end of the podcast, but let's get right into it for now. Sam, Friendship, the eagerly anticipated last episode, written and storyboarded by Joe and Jeff, the main team. What'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was problem solving.
Problem solving? What did you like
Emotions.
about this?
Talking it out. Pearl being a doofus. Peridot being a nerd.
There's certainly a lot of talking.
What's not to like about all this talking?
I mean, what did you like about the talking? You think it was a good resolution to Week of Sardonyx?
I think it was a good resolution to what they set up, yeah. I mean, it's not like a complete, open and shut. I think and I hope that's going to affect everything in the future. Well, it probably will. But I think for this arc, it's a nice resolution.
Yeah. I'm less hot on it. I'm quite frustrated with the show right now.
Why?
The end result is that there's no plot advancement after this week now. And I thought that we were now, I talked about this last podcast, I thought we are now in a different type of show where we're going to have constant plot movement and big episodes. And something we've moved beyond the middle of season 1. But it seems like it was just that we're at the end of a season and the beginning of a season, so we're going to move the plot, and now we're going to be stagnant for a while, which is frustrating because I don't necessarily need to see these minor character episodes that we had the past 2 days. And this episode, Peridot lost her foot, right? That's the end result of everything. I know Pearl and Garnet made up, but obviously they're going to make up. I think that's the risk you take when you create this type of arc, which is new for this show, but obviously it's going to get resolved at the end, so it's not like this was anything unexpected.
Well, isn't anything that gets started in storytelling going to get resolved?
I mean, yeah, but you also know exactly when it's going to get resolved here. It was going to be on Friday, and it did, and it was kind of exactly what we thought. They're going to fuse again, and they did. And I don't know, it's no more, no less for me.
You are much too needy, my friend.
I don't know. I didn't necessarily take away a ton from Pearl or Garnet's speeches, or I think this was one of the weaker Peridot characterizations. I feel like maybe with her it was the less the better. I don't know. Over Peridot exposure, her character's kind of one note, and I don't know. There's some good moments, I guess, but these three past episodes I think are a huge step down from the first two in the week. And I want the show to do something. That's my main frustration.
You're just things can't happen all the time, Dylan.
This was 5 episodes of the show. I don't know. Okay, and now I see that Eric Thurm's AV Club review is out and he gave it an A. I don't know if I see that at all. I don't really understand. But so let's go over some of the elements that made up this episode. So we have a lot of Peridot, way more Peridot than we've seen. And in the beginning, she's kind of evading their capture, and it's kind of portrayed as it's the infighting among the crystal gems that causes this from her.
It's Pearl.
It's
Pearl's fault.
It seems like it's Pearl's fault, but also a little bit Garnet. Garnet's also distracted.
Yeah.
And this allows Peridot to escape when they trap her in the gem. What is that place called? She escapes there, and it looks like Pearl's tracking her, and then they go to this place, which seems like it's in South America, because they actually had a map, which is interesting.
Wow. And
it's a crashed gem ship, an ancient gem ship before the wars, and Peridot traps them in there. And I don't know, something that stuck out to me from when they're in there is this kind of high stakes for this show. Kind of more danger than typical, I would say.
Oh, Dylan, by the way, it's called the Galaxy Warp.
The Galaxy Warp, yeah. So, Galaxy Warp, a frequent Steven Universe location. And, so what did you think of the new ship setting? We're kind of promised a new ship in the description, and we had one.
It's a ship. It's outer space. Gems, rocks. Ancient.
Artistically, did you like this this location? It was kind of, I don't know, I feel like it had a distinct feel to it.
No. I mean, it's a ship. I felt the same way with the jailbreak ship, so...
It was definitely, came across as older, as opposed to the jailbreak ship, obviously, because, I don't know, what do you think of the goings-on in the ship before they were trapped? Like, they're shot at a bunch, and, I don't know... Then they go into...
basically, Peridot just, like, spamming attacks at them.
Spamming attacks, that's...
Yeah, that's literally what she was doing.
That is pretty funny, yeah. Is that what she's... You think she's controlling every attack? Like, it's a video game controller?
She is just pushing the, It's been a while since I played an FPS on the computer. I guess it would be the mouse click button. Right click.
Yeah.
No, left click. It's on the left.
Yeah, and I'd say the main like emotional high point of the episode definitely comes when Pearl and Garnet are trapped in whatever this is, like a jail cell or something.
The thing. It happens all the time in movies.
Yeah, and then it starts collapsing on it. Yeah.
It's crushing.
Yeah. So, what do you think of what Garnet says to Pearl, like in terms of advice she gives her when they kind of resolve everything?
I can't even remember.
Well, it's this entire thing. It's like, I look up to you sometimes. You have to be strong yourself. Aww. Well, Pearl says that she's just like just a Pearl, useless on her own, and she wanted to be part of this perfect relationship that Garnet has.
She needs another person. She needs to be told what to do.
Well, yeah, and Pearl pretty dependent on others for self-worth and stuff like that, but Garnet says that she looks up to Pearl and wants her to be strong on her own. Yeah, so I guess this scene kind of serves as the conclusion to this conflict arc the entire time, and it resolves through Pearl kind of admitting her insecurities and stuff to Garnet and apologizing, and Garnet I guess feels for Pearl through what the type of thing she admits, and kind of, I guess, I don't know, maybe to me it seemed like Garnet wasn't seeing things from Pearl's perspective, and maybe that was part of the problem here, because to the audience it's obvious what Pearl's saying, that's how she feels, so it's like, why is this going to trigger this reunion between the two, other than that it's just an apology. But I feel like this is pretty realistic in that Garnet just doesn't understand where Pearl's coming from. Like, Garnet's thinking that Pearl's like disrespecting the sanctity of fusion earlier and stuff like that, and but that's not what Pearl's thought process is at all, and we know that because we've been spending so much time with Pearl throughout the week. But Garnet maybe has trouble getting in Pearl's head like that, and maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is the thing with fusion. Maybe I wonder how empathy works with fusion when you're two people. That's kind of hard to conceptualize. We were kind of talking about this earlier in the week. It's like conceptualizing fusion, and it's hard for us to do. But I could see how you could get lost in your own thoughts between the two of you, especially if you can disagree with yourself, like it seems like Garnet can. Like, yeah. While she's the thing, which is hard to think about. So I don't know. I'm talking myself into liking the scene a little bit more now that I'm seeing it. But it's I don't know. Definitely expected constellation scene. What are your thoughts on? I don't know. What are your thoughts on Garnet throughout this? Because we've always been kind of sympathetic to Pearl.
Garnet's just like, I don't know. She's focused on the mission at hand, and she just wants to get it done. But I don't know. Pearl's kind of trying too hard, and Garnet's like, yeah. She doesn't have time for forgiveness.
My reaction to this episode is, I assume not what most people's is. Like, I'm like, Garnet, get over it. Like, Pearl's obviously upset, and I feel like Garnet herself is who's costing them the chance for catching Peridot by not getting over this sooner. But at the same time, that's not really fair, obviously, when someone's upset, to just say, stop being upset. Which is, I don't know, it's kind of a well put together conflict at the heart of it. I feel like others are going to be team Team Garnet more on this, in that Pearl seemingly is the one here. Pearl can't admit like what's happening. She's obviously sorry, but she's the one who lost them the mission and stuff like that. But then at the end, they, work it out and stuff. Catch Peridot. They take her foot off. Yeah, I have a quote from. I paused and read the Eric Thurm review. I have a quote from there, which I'm just.
Don't tell them your secrets.
I'm gonna cherry pick the things that I agree with, I guess, from this review. Steven and Gems forcing Peridot to eject her foot feels like a classic TV resolution, and not in a good way. It moves the ball forward just a little bit on the ongoing plot, allowing the heroes to feel somewhat victorious and determined without actually having accomplished much of anything. Which I don't understand how you could have that, but also have an A review of the episode. Interesting. But
just because something follows tropes and stuff doesn't mean it isn't good.
Yeah, no, that's true. I feel like to me this is a negative trope, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk about Peridot's characterization here. Peridot, kind of last Stephen Bomb is, I feel like we agreed she was like, kind of like a bumbling, like nerdy follower, and she's doing these kind of bad things, but it's not really her idea and her fault. That was kind of the impression we got from the third episode in the previous Stephen week.
That's the impression you got.
Well, I feel like you agreed. I don't know. Do you disagree?
I don't know. Let's move on to what Peridot was like today.
Well, today Peridot even more bumbling, and
yeah, she's a big nerd.
Big nerd. She more directly was clearly trying to kill them, though. Here.
Well, because they were like getting in her way, and apparently the Earth is doomed. That's not good.
She said the Earth has an expiration date. Yeah, that was kind of a throwaway line. I don't think that means
anything. No, it doesn't.
It
means something.
Well, so it means one of two things. It means either she just is saying the sun's going to explode at some point, which we know already. That's not new information. Like, unless this is an alternate planet somewhere else, they're going to follow our planetary rules. Or, I think that makes sense from the perspective of a gem because they live so long. Or it means that the gem homeworld's going to invade them again at some point.
I feel like it's that.
I didn't necessarily think it was hinting at that. I need more information before concluding that. I don't really understand why the homeworld would invade. I don't think that makes sense.
You sweet summer child.
Maybe I'm pretty disillusioned with this show taking any plot advancements right now.
Oh my god, why?
So, I don't think they're
so stubborn.
We'll get to the homeworld invasion in like season 10, right around there. But until then, we can spend 3 more Stephen weeks with Peridot, and that'll be good. But
you are, oh my god, if I could call you a negative thing on this podcast, I would. I'll call you a jerk. You're a jerk.
I feel like this is a legitimate criticism. I also feel like this is one that's going to be shared by other fans.
Why can't you just have fun? You're like that picture of that robot, the no fun allowed, like putting down the sign. That's you.
So we talked about this yesterday, I think, but the show can have good episodes that don't advance the plot. I feel like this is a quality disparity issue rather than a filler type thing. Like Sworn to the Sword, like I talked about this, Sworn to the Sword doesn't advance the plot like at all, other than it makes Connie a fighter. But it doesn't do anything with the gems or the homeworld, and it's just an incredible character episode. To me, there's nothing in this episode that I feel like comes to that level of characterization at all. Pearl has a great moment where she admits that she's just a Pearl and kind of weak. She's insecurities about the her innate things about her. But we already knew that, and I've heard her say that before, and maybe not this explicitly, but the show's done a good job with that, and I don't think this really does anything for her character. Garnet, what does Garnet do? She forgives Pearl kind of after. I feel like it was more out of character for Garnet not to have forgiven Pearl earlier. Like, not out of character, but that was new information. Like, we've always seen Garnet be really agreeable and stuff like that.
This fusion is something really sacred to her.
Yeah, so this week we learned how sacred fusion is to her and how her inner conflict works, but I don't think this resolution really does much of anything new for her. But it's still decent. What really stands out to me, though, throughout this, and I think Eric Thurm talks about a lot, is how Amethyst has acted this week. And we talked about this in earlier podcasts, but Amethyst's role as less of a non-emotional presence throughout in the group and more kind of real, seems like a real person. And I really like what they've done with Amethyst, and it continues here, but at the same time it was happening all 4 previous episodes.
It's like the parents are fighting and the oldest kid has to be like...
Yeah, and I really like how she functions with the in that oldest kid role. But these are things that the entire week accomplished, I think. I don't know if it was necessarily this episode.
Yeah.
What else? I like random things. I like how happy Steven is with Peridot continued here. This happened in the 3rd episode of last week, but
yeah, he wished her a good morning and a good weekend.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't think Peridot has a concept of weekends, but thanks anyway.
Oh, that's another. Write that down to discuss on our theories podcast. How does the gem calendar work? Should we discuss that?
We should probably.
No,
that's actually like a really valid thing to discuss.
Not in terms of structure of the week, but maybe in terms of like years and stuff.
When you're practically immortal, how does time work?
Is there evidence that the gems follow our calendar? Because if so, that's more evidence that the gems are have a large.
They do follow like years. So
well, the crystal gems say years, but they could just be trying to relate to a concept Steven knows.
Oh, Pearl says years. I don't know.
I don't
know. Peridot, give us some schooling about stuff.
Basically, one of the things with the gem species is that the more things that they have like humans, the more likely it is that humans were involved in their creation or like had a big influence in their like lifetime as a species, you know?
Mm.
So I don't know, Sam and I kind of feel like the gems taking on a humanoid form in their projections means something, even though that would have to be like backtrack explained.
Are they like squiggly monsters of the homeworld? I don't know.
See, all evidence points to the fact that they also have their humanoid projections on the homeworld. I guess we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because we haven't been there, but I would assume that they are just...
Yeah, I would assume so, too, because Jasper and, like...
Jasper and Lapis and that shot of Yellow Diamond we had...
yeah, they're all humanoid. Yeah. And it's interesting.
Yeah. So, I know if the gems are humanoid, why are they humanoid? Well, because they design their characters that way, but that's not an in-universe explanation.
It's like how they have mass.
Yeah.
They're holograms with mass.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all. We can get more into this later. So, what's next from here in this show? So, Peridot's escaped again with a foot. We still have Jasper and Lapis tied together. Kind of in the same place. Where do you think is going to break first in terms of this plot stagnation? Are we going to have Lapis giving up in terms of holding them down? Are we going to capture Peridot? Is something going to happen from the homeworld?
I don't know. Did you see that? Well, you did see it because you were blocked at that promo image.
Yeah, I thought that Jasper and Lapis would be in the episodes.
Yeah, I thought that Pearl was like dealing with Peridot or something. I don't know what was happening.
Yeah, but they were not.
Is that foreshadowing for what's going to happen?
They were certainly not in this episode, Lapis and Jasper. I guess since we spent so much time with Peridot this week, we're going to go back to Lapis. Last Steven week, we ended with Lapis. And it seems like she was not going to give at all. And Peridot, I guess, is more of a present threat.
Peridot's just a weirdo. She's weird.
We have descriptions for 3 episodes beyond this one, although they haven't been dated yet, and all of them are not plot related, except for there's Gem Drill, Steven travels underground. So that, I guess, is plot related. Interesting.
Steven travels underground.
Yeah. Super Watermelon Island, Steven finds the Watermelon Stevens. He created an episode, Watermelon Steven. That's a great plot description.
I'm so excited. I like the Watermelon Stevens. They're really cute.
That was a good one, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so they fuse again, but they immediately come out of it. Do you think this week has earned Week of Sardonyx as its name?
No.
Sardonyx was not there enough for this to be Week of Sardonyx.
I mean, but it's their thing. They can name it whatever they want.
This is week Pearl and Garnet fight, and Amethyst is stuck in the middle. But that's too long of a title, I guess.
Garnet has to go sleep in a hotel for a couple nights, and then everything will just blow over, and then they'll pretend everything's fine over breakfast, but they'll still be upset with each other, and somebody has to sleep on the couch for a little bit.
The end.
Yeah, and that's how parents work, right?
Yeah, that's how it works. I didn't really understand random things from the episode. The physics behind how Pearl was tracking them through the escape pod.
Oh, I think Pearl's a robot.
Well, I think they're all robots, but
I think Pearl is a robot.
Pearl, like, it seems when she has her eyes like that. When
I think it's really cool because, like, aesthetic, but she's a robot.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Pearl's aesthetic when
when she has technology eyes.
Yeah, and like when the thing comes out of her head, I feel like it's all really consistent and cool design.
But the one thing that everybody on the Tumblr is freaking out about that we haven't mentioned yet is the line that like she's just a Pearl, like she's one and a C.
So again, this is like
so you could say it's all pearls but no oysters.
So this is I don't know what the freak out is, but this is the sequel to the line in the second to last episode of season 1.
A sequel to the
where
line.
So that Jasper says just a defective Pearl. So I don't know if people are now coming around to the conclusion I've always drawn that Pearl is a type of gem and not just a gem.
People had that conclusion for forever.
Yeah, this is something we knew.
It's it's just another confirmation of it.
This is not really new info. Like yes, so this is there's likely to be types of gems, and since gems seemingly are harvested from the ground, I don't know. All of this just leads me to believe that gems are like created, not born.
Just because you're such a buzzkill.
Just because all of them. No, it's just one of many things here, which is not new information.
I'm going to argue that the Jasper line was kind of a throwaway line, but this is like a confirmation of that theory that it wasn't a throwaway line. It was just Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you didn't conclude that from there,
not everybody can be as smart as you do.
Well, I feel you said that everyone did take that away before.
Exactly.
So it's I don't know. It's not. It doesn't. All it means is that there's other pearls, right? Like it doesn't necessarily.
But do they all look alike?
Yeah, we don't really know that, and it seems like Pearl is not very high up in the gem hierarchy. So I guess the diamonds would be the ruling class, and then there's the Pearl. I don't know how it
Pearls
would work,
are like the servants.
Yeah, and then everyone's in between or something like that. Yeah, I don't know why pearls would be the servants. Pearl is the coolest powers. IMO.
Yeah, she does. Maybe because she's a servant, she has to serve.
I guess
the diamonds, so she has to be more useful.
She has to be like more robot-like since she's serving. Has to be like capable of like projecting, and that's a pretty useless power. But it makes more sense if
Pearl's a robot.
I mean, yeah, she basically is.
That's so cool.
It makes more sense, I guess, if you look at her projection as like if she's a courier for visual messages and stuff like that between higher up gems. That could make sense.
I guess, but she's also a robot.
Well, yeah. I mean,
in a good way. She's like a robot with feelings. You know what I mean? she's not like Google, so she's not going to kill us.
She's one of those good feeling robots like WALL-E, as opposed to those evil robots.
Terminator.
Like Terminator. Yeah, that's a good. Okay.
Yep. Pearl's a good robot.
Pearl's one of them good robots. Overall, what do you think of? I don't know. What else am I missing anything? I don't think so. I think we covered.
The animation was sort of off model.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I think you would clear a stream. You were watching on the stream. You probably could see it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's frequent with this show? Does it?
It depends on who's storyboarding, who's animating. Like it depends on who's doing it. Like there's this chart floating around somewhere like that shows the differences between each storyboarders, like Steven, like how they draw him and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was kind of like exaggerated over the top and like a little bit off model today, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Overall, what do you think of friendship, and where does it rank in the? You don't need to rank all 5 if you don't want to, but it's the Xth best episode of Week of Sardonyx.
So I liked it. I liked it more than you did, apparently. I think in this whole Week of Sardonyx, Steven Bomb 3, I liked Cry for Help first, Keystone Motel second, this one third, Onion Friend 3, Historical Friction. No, I can't count. Historical Friction's last.
I thought you were so high on Jamie though.
Yeah, but Jamie's cool, but like that episode was kind of snore,
Snore, I agree.
Except for Pearl, It was
quite snore.
She was
Pearl
cool.
just being a mom, that was the best part, yeah.
She's such a mom. I love her.
Yeah, Keystone Motel #1, Cry for Help #2, and then the other three
Wow.
in a below average. I don't know. These are all C's for me. Maybe I'll like Friendship more upon rewatch.
Wow, C is average.
C isn't. Yeah, it's hard. It's like, how are you grading it, right? It's. This show is typically much better than an average show, so I don't know. It depends if that involves your scale.
I don't know. I feel like you are too hard, and I feel like you expected a lot out of this, and you didn't get as much as you wanted.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
And I feel like that's why you're all bummed out.
Yeah, I don't even want. I didn't even need a big plot episode. I just need a Sworn to the Sword, which I guess is too much to ask for because that's like one of the best ever.
Yeah, you can't expect diamonds every time you go sifting through the dirt.
Yeah, so I think because of this, I have to officially stop calling this the best show on TV because it's killing my expectations for it.
I still think it's the best show on TV.
I mean, I thought that going in. I'm not so sure now.
Well, that's your opinion.
I mean, if it's not, it's like #2. You know, it's not like it's. I still
on
think
my very limited range of.
I still think
TV
incredibly
shows that
highly of it, but I'm gonna need some. I would love some plot movement, etc. I don't know. More Lapis. That's always the way to get me to love an episode. Just have Lapis there.
Wow, maybe I shouldn't force you to watch Cena because you're not going to like it.
Because it's not going to move its plot at all, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I've been trying to get Dylan to watch it.
I still maintain that that's not my problem with these past 3 episodes. I feel like it's quality disparity. But we'll see. I'm interested to see what people think of this one. We are, of course, watching this immediately after. We're talking about it immediately after the episode aired. And I'm probably expecting a next Stephen Baum announcement pretty soon.
I thought they were going to start airing regularly in August.
Did they say that?
I feel like they did.
At the Comic-Con panel, did they say that?
I don't...
I don't know. I honestly don't
You
know.
look it up.
I mean,
you're the one with all the Google
Like, they're going to
alerts.
go back to just, like, the regular Thursday airings?
Oh, let's look it up.
I didn't see that they said that. It's possible that they will. We've been in Stephen Baum territory for quite a while, since April 30th.
I don't know what a good website is for this.
It might make sense that this is what Cartoon Network wants to do during the summer, and then they want to air it regularly, not during the summer. Yeah, because in season 1, they stopped for the entire summer. They stopped May 14th to August 21st. There are no new episodes. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, that's the period where I took a break.
So we'll see what happens with this. I assume that the information might be out already if you're listening to this later.
Why does it look like in this promo image that Pearl is a pawn?
Yeah.
That bothers me.
Well, Pearl's a pawn for Peridot because she was like controlling them or something. That's not really what happened in the episode, but kind of a simplification of it.
I guess.
Any last thoughts on Week of Sardonyx or Friendship?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Maybe, I don't know, I feel like the first Stephen Baum was definitely the best. But, like, I don't know, the Stephen Baum thing is just pretty much for promotional purposes and not, like, plot purposes.
Well, this one was for plot purposes, it seemed.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't for plot purposes, but they, like, rebranded, like... I don't know. I think that...
I don't know. I don't know if we should be looking at... Oh, never mind. Just, you go.
They certainly were aware that these 5 episodes would air one after another.
Yeah.
Certainly. I think this was a conceptual failure. Not that this was, like, terrible, but I just think that I feel like the Pearl-Garnet conflict, stretching it out over 5 episodes, ended up being a bad idea. I would say. I mean, I don't think it was particularly a running plot thread. Like, in one of these, it was only, like, barely mentioned. And I think they just...
should have gone the rest of the season.
They should have just treaded. It, like, forced them to address it right immediately after another. It skewed audience expectations into knowing exactly when they're going to address it and stuff like that. And maybe it would be better served stretched out over a little longer period or just resolved in 1 or 2. But either way, I don't... You can tell me if you guys if you disagree with this or not, but I just don't think the structure... I mean, it makes sense that it wouldn't be perfect the first time. This is the first time they've tried this plot structure out. So we'll see what happens next Stephen Baum, or if they go back to regular ones.
Is it me, or did I hear or feel that Garda didn't completely forgive Pearl? She was just like, well, try to improve yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if she completely forgave her. That's true.
Also, we're about to be crushed, so let's get snappy with it.
Yeah, true. Kind of a forced forgiveness there. Anyway, that's all for this week's podcast. Not this week's, today's, because we did 5 this week. I'm Dylan Hysen. That's Sam Quattro. Sam, where can we find you on social media?
You can't.
Okay, you could.
No, I'm at cool MCR on Twitter with a K. Stupid nervous.
I was gonna let you get away with that. And you're stupid nervous on Tumblr. I'm Dylan Ovia on Tumblr, Dylan_Ovia on Twitter. You can find out more about the podcast at overlyanimated.com, our Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patron Shayna, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate.
Did we decide on Nate's nickname?
No, it's still in flux.
Okay, so we got Shayna, which is Hannah, Heya, check out the poor picture. Mitch, which is Fever Mitch, like fever pitch, blah 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 blah. Cordell University. Beatrice, which is Bellatrix Lestrange, and not Mitch. We already said Mitch. Nate. I want to name you like China Plate or Fancy Plate, but Dylan's like no. So
I'm not buying the Plate Nate connection. So
they rhyme. It's like break out the fancy plates. Nate's here.
Okay, that's better, but that's kind of a long one.
Well, thank you, Nate. Nonetheless, I'm still workshopping the idea.
We're workshopping the names. Yeah, you can find all the social media links at overlyanimated.com, and we'll probably have depending on when this comes back, we'll have a theories or predictions podcast on Steven Universe somewhere in the middle. Next week, we're going to be talking about a bunch of movies, I think. Next podcast is going to be on
a bunch of movies.
A bunch of movies.
Just a bunch of them.
Ghibli and Pixar movies.
We won't tell you what they are.
Yes. Ghibli and Pixar. Oh, yeah. And we have Princess Kaguya review, Thief and the Cobbler retrospective, and a Incredibles retrospective, which I recorded with Mel today and went 90 minutes of talk on. I
don't know how you can go on 90 minutes talking about The Incredibles. What did you talk about?
Heteronormativity. Like a lot. Like a lot. Like a lot.
Okay.
like so much.
I hope you had fun with that.
I don't know if we did, but we certainly talked about it. Okay, that's all.
I haven't seen The Incredibles in like 10 years, so.
You should. No, it's really good. You should watch. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
You.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.